So today we're going to be doing a angel hair pasta with basil, tomato, and chicken and pine nuts. First we're going to start with the chicken. We're going to cut some holes in it to allow the seasonings and the flavors to get into the meat. Then we're going to pound it with a meat pounder. This just makes the meat a little more vulnerable to the penetration of the flavor. Makes it easier to cut. So since we're doing a pasta, we're going to cut the chicken into small bite-sized pieces. So next, we're going to put the noodles on a boil so that they're ready to strain when the meat is done. So I like to break them in half so that it's more manageable sized bites. And don't put the noodles in until the water is at a boil. And I like to add some salt and some dry basil leaves to the boiling water for flavor. So we're going to cut one tomato in half and use a whole half for the marinade, and then we're going to prep the other 3 halves into small, manageable sizes to put with the chicken itself. So now we're going to start with a Ziploc bag. We're going to put about a 3 count of olive oil. Put our chicken in. Basil. Save a little bit for the pan while we heat up the oil. Take that half a tomato, squeeze all the juice out, discard the skin. Now our seasonings. Okay. So the seasonings I like to use, we have lemon pepper, herbes de Provence, the dry basil leaves, and just a little bit of pepper. There. Don't want to get too much salt. Basil leaves. Ready? Okay. So while we're letting that heat up, we're just going to disperse everything on the pan. Get it all filled up. So while we're letting the oil heat up, we're just going to mash our marinade into the chicken breast, like so. In the bag, make sure it doesn't rip open. We don't want any raw poultry anywhere. Just really mash it all in. Let that meat soak up all the flavor. So now that our pan is heated up, we're going to put all our chicken and marinade right onto the pan. Yeah. That's what we want. Alright, so just stir that in nice and evenly. Okay. So just go ahead and keep your noodles stirring as they're boiling. See how that basil has added a nice touch. Now, chicken's been simmering for about 10 minutes or so, so at this point we're going to add all the diced tomatoes. We didn't want to add them too early to risk salmonella. We wanted the meat to cook just a little bit. You don't want these tomatoes to be fully cooked and dried out. You still want them to be a little fresh. So now that we've let it simmer for about 20 minutes, we've allowed the meat to soak up a lot of the flavor. So we're going to take the top off and let it simmer for about another 5 minutes to get rid of some of the moisture. And in that time, we're going to strain our noodles because they are now ready. your strainer. Turn the burner off. Yep. So we got our noodles in our pan. The chicken is done, and we're just gonna pour this in here. Make sure you get all those pine nuts. Mix it all together, and I like to top this dish off with some Parmesan cheese, and then we are ready to go. And yeah, that's our chicken, tomato, and basil pasta.